Since I finally had some deliveries this week, I decided to address the illegal ride height of my red 124 project at the front. In Western Australia, you need to have 100 mm clearance from the lowest point of the car to the ground. Just as a reference point, before we begin, this is the height of the front wheel arch. You do have to subtract 10 mm because there is a plastic stopper on the end of this spirit level, so that's 620 mm. Firstly, I had to obviously raise the car. Now, you don't just do it on one side, you do have to do it on both sides because there is a sway bar, and the suspension on the side you're working on will not lower enough for you to pull the spring out unless you really compress it if you don't lift the other side of the car as well. I just had to remember that. I knew that, but unfortunately I forgot. But yeah, it's not a big deal. So after I raised this side of the car and started trying to remove the spring, I remembered, yeah, I need to lift the other side as well. This is one of the easier jobs to do on the 124 suspension. The spring just needs to be compressed. The spring pads actually sit at the top of the springs in that perch. And yeah, just the telescopic spring compressor is what I use, and that squeezes it in nice and safely, and there's not much chance of death or injury when you're using this. This is not a quality German tool, this is one of the Chinesey ones on eBay, and it does the job, so can't complain. They're actually pretty cheap, so I would recommend having them if you're doing any suspension work on a 124 or a 126 that uses springs, because this kit does both cars. It has the small ones and the large ones covered. And it also works on the 201 as well. We have used it on that successfully. And as you can see, it makes the job damn easy. And the reason I've got the masking tape is to stop my springs getting scratched up. That's just being a bit pedantic. So that's the spring pad that I'm talking about. Now, I did assume that I had different to what I have on here. To my surprise, these are actually 1-notch pads. No wonder the front is so damn low. I could have sworn I had 2-notch pads. I don't know how this happened, but then again, lots of mistakes have happened on this car. And to my surprise, they're genuine MB. I kind of thought they were no longer available, so I'm not sure where I even bought these from. Probably from the Classic Centre. I'm sure I asked for number 2 pads, but it is what it is. At least I've got some spare number 1s. I might actually fit those to blue black now. You can see there is a massive difference between the 4-notch pads and the 1-notch pads. At this point in time, I was kind of dreading that I'm going to overshoot the mark and end up with the front end aimed at the sky. But there's only one way to find out. Let's fit them and see what it looks like. Now, because of the extra height of that number 4 pad, I did have to compress the spring a bit more to get it to fit in. But that's actually not that hard. You just put it on the ground and you hold it and tighten it up, which is what I was doing here. And that's it. We just need to release the tension on that spring, and this side is basically done. Obviously this is sped up. I'm not some kind of superhero. But yeah, it really is that easy. So that is now installed with the 4-notch pads, with the 1-notch pad removed. We just have to do the same on the other side now. And that's the part number if you're interested for the 1-notch pad. As I said, I might actually fit this to blue black. It currently has 2-notch pads on the front, and it is a bit high for my liking. And blue black has 3-notch pads on the rear. I may actually swap those over as well to something else. because yeah, that car is really high, but that's how it left the factory. So let's just have a look at what this side looks like with the 4-notch pad installed now. Obviously I do have to roll the car back and forward, which I have now done, and pumped it up and down a few times, and to my surprise it's actually looking pretty damn good. So I think I made a happy mistake here. Obviously these spring pads don't make that much of a difference, they're really for fine tuning. So I've gone from 1 to 4, and that's the difference it's made. From a corrected 620mm to a corrected 630mm. Obviously I'll need to take it for a drive to get the final figures, but now it's time to do the other side, and we'll see what difference that makes. And it's just a case of doing exactly the same process all over again. This is definitely something the DIYer can do at home, as long as you have these telescopic spring compressors. The ones that hook on the sides, they're a bit too dicey for my liking. I don't know that you'd even get them to work, not in a safe manner anyway. So this is the 1-notch pad coming off, and the 4-notch pad is now installed and it's going in. And we're decompressing that spring. As easy as that. That side is now done. And for reference, this hose attachment is 120mm long, and it easily clears the front sway bar. So this is the final level of the car. Now bear in mind, this is not 100% accurate. I still haven't fit the air conditioning compressor, and I still don't have those heavy electric front Sportline seats installed. So it may end up coming down a little bit more. I just don't know. And yes, the fuel tank is completely full, so when that's actually getting used, no doubt the rear will come up slightly as well. But yes, the next thing is to, I guess, wait until the seats are installed and we'll see what it looks like then. I do still need to install my new aftermarket axle shafts. Maybe I will do that tomorrow if I have the time.